Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the group stages. The 2019 Overwatch World Cup. Excuse us. We just slammed some food in our cake holes and we're ready now to cover our last match of the day. Denmark versus Canada.
Why
Canada,
did you say that? The only thing I didn't eat was my cake, and then as soon as you mentioned cake, I'm like, oh, it's right there.
You're saying you couldn't have your cake and eat it too, Matt? He's so mad. It's getting pretty crazy out here, I won't lie. Denmark...
Canada's had a rough go.
Yes.
I think that's kind of the story of this. Canada, one of the best performing teams that we've had really just about every year outside of the first one, is really in a rough spot. I mean, they have not won a game yet. And by game, I mean a series. They are out of groups. You will not see them tomorrow. And it just seems like this team's a little bit frustrated with how it's shaken out. I saw some tweets from XQC, Sure for the whole gang. I mean, obviously this is not how they wanted it to go. Denmark just rolling through here. But look, I think Sure for kind of put it best. Like every team that's been successful in previous metas is not going to succeed in the next one. And it may have just been a bad meta here for Canada.
Yeah, definitely. From what we've seen today with all the variation in DPS, it definitely has been there. We have not seen teams just stick to the same setup. And this is a good example of that. Shax on the Bastion. Nepal Sanctum, not really a place for us to see Bastion. But Denmark are happy to try it out here. Sure punishing Henningsen there. Storm Arrow, we found a headshot with the last one. And Canada may have a chance to break in, but they still need to deal with the Bastion threat. And honestly, it's kind of hard to get to him right now. Look at how far back and how safely Shax is playing.
Yeah, and they have the Ant Matrix down here, but no, it'll take out Fisher. Fisher is on the point, trying to contest. Is Canada trying to flip, but there goes XQC.
Yeah, gets rid of Molf, though. I'm going to pull him off the edge. Shax, time for tank configuration. Can he find some air shots here? He really doesn't mind too much about trying to commit to the point. He actually is being stalled out really well by Kellex for quite a while. And they have Henningsen on the wrecking ball. So this is giving time for Shax to find these kills. He's just got agilities. That is pretty big. And even if, okay, Shax isn't going to win the fight on his own, but here are the reinforcements. Molf returns on Diva. Whatever it takes, Denmark are just keeping the percentage ticking.
Get on the point, right? As they step off of it there. As Fisher, I believe, was using the Blizzard, and he gets taken out too. So after this, Shax will probably switch. Don't know if you'll see the Bastion yet again, as now the Farah Hanzo setup has broken this Bastion play. Bastion Doomfist would be interesting. We have not really seen that at all.
Shax. No, I'm going to switch off. I mean, look, Denmark get a solid chunk of percentage there just from the Bastion setup. It took Canada that long to work it out. That's kind of a thing we've seen on quite a few maps, right? Like the teams just lose so much time, whether it's time or percentage, they're both the same thing, trying to get rid of Bastion. McCree here, when you're trying to, it's a respect to agilities, but also he needs to be very careful. Shax, Sure finds him, he's going to be done very, very quickly. And agilities is really pushing Denmark back.
I think this is a hero and heroes for agilities and Sure. You probably feel better about playing. Sure plays the Bastion. Agilities, though, I think that's where kind of some of his hero pool comes into play.
Banny, that was huge.
Yeah.
Keeps Sure alive. It really shouldn't have survived that, to be honest, but he gets away with it. Fisher goes home with absolutely nothing. Canada now in control. They stayed in control. Henningsen over the edge of the map, and Denmark, I think the bottom might be falling out of this strategy for them.
Well, because they stay on it for so long and then switch, you're not really going to have a ton of ultimates here, and you're going to have Barrage and Dragon. You can kind of lock off from both doors, right? You Dragon one, you Barrage the other. Ain't nothing Denmark can do.
Well, they're going to have a go anyway. 95 and counting, and they have to walk into agilities. There's no choice. Resigned to their fate. Denmark walk one by one into the abattoir, and both their main tanks are dead. Now it's a matter of seeing if they can stall the point enough to get a few players, get a cheeky kill here or there like Fisher just got. They need a lot more than that, though. Touch on the point here for Kellex. Staying alive as he possibly can, but Sure now wraps around. There's nowhere that's safe for Denmark to stall the point from. Just going to have to be Molf getting himself that adaptive shield, the Reinhardt for Henningsen. Why not? Try and keep your team alive on this point. Throw whatever you've got at it. Finally over the edge, holding one for Molf, and that will be the round for Canada, who recover after having to deal with the cheesy Bastion.
2019, the year of the Reinhardt stall pick. Ever thought, poor Reinhardt. He resorted to resorted to a stall pick.
Effectively, he has
Stall hero.
2,000 extra health if they don't flank his shield. So yeah, that's pretty good. That's a lot of health, fam.
Just stands there and waits and hopes. And never works out. Canada, let's see what they decide to do.
Now, this is a map where I've seen plenty of Bastard. This was the El Presidente strat
and
on
this is
this
where
map.
like May was even prevalent on this map before May became really like meta.
The Houston Outlaws in Season 1, the Overwatch League, had the Bastion play on this map. They loved it.
Teams play like junk around this. Does XQC play Reinhardt?
All right, well.
Sigma.
Okay.
Why not?
Explain this to me.
Canada's 0-3.
Thank you.
No, I mean, we've seen I saw a few players, I think, but they were talking more about the Ryan Winston. They were like, oh, Ryan Winston is good against the double shield stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. But a lot of teams use Reinhardt for like AoE damage, as you see XQC right now. Just going Battle Ryan with it. Already had a shatter.
Yeah, XQC now struggling. You're going to get surrounded on all sides. I don't know if Canada stay with this. Shore4 on the Symmetra, which we didn't really mention. We just thought he was teleporting his team forward. The problem with that here is that at the ranges that Symmetra was good, Reaper and May are probably better. Symmetra takes some time to ramp up, whereas May can freeze you before that happens. Reaper can just blow your head off. Yeah,
just a little bit more effective. As now Canada, they'll have XQC on the Orisa. Makes some more sense. It's Orisa, Sigma, Hanzo, Pharah. This is how they won the first point, so now they're just trying to find angles with this Pharah. Put down enough damage, maybe the Hanzo hits a headshot and work their way onto the point slow.
Canada probably doesn't want to commit until Agilities has found something here. Scaly goes for the Coalescence. This will help them sustain through this damage, but now with Fisher getting picked off by Agilities, that's when Canada go. Crimso's Coalescence timing was really fortuitous, or excellent if it was him holding it, because after they find the pick, they should have had the muscle to push onto the point. They still haven't managed to do that yet. Henningsen is low. Now the dam finally breaks, and Canada is able to push in.
Who'd have thought? Not playing that Reinhardt. I mean, the Reinhardt at the beginning, I think, was like a little bit of a cheeky strat with having the Symmetra as well, because you have the Symmetra, the players try to walk in. You can actually get a lot of good damage down with the run. I mean, XQC did get his shatter real quick. It's just not an ideal comp. Now Canada can do the same thing they did on the first point. They can pretty much play like zone area denial with the Pharah and the Hanzo, and all it takes is one arrow to get an easy pick off, or a rocket that just connects with a damage boost, and you're good to go.
Yeah, I think you take those odds, right?
Oh yeah.
If you're Canada, especially with a halt, almost giving you a guaranteed direct hit or whatever. Oh man, there it is.
Nice halt.
That's the halt. Agilities blows him up, and that's one ultimate. You win that fight with giving Shore4 more time to get his Dragon Strike ready. That's another ultimate that combines admirably with the halt. Can't complain.
I think we talk a little bit about just Canada overall, like the team. Obviously, this is their last match. I think it'll be pretty upsetting for some of the fans. A lot of, I mean, it's the only time you get to see XQC compete throughout the year. Huge fan favorite player, right? I mean, everybody usually goes crazy when he comes out.
Sure.
I know T-Mobile MVP in past years, right?
Yeah, he was indeed. All right, Fisher. Couple icicles locked up. We're looking at his Blizzard, though. When does he try and go for that, if at all? Well, he probably shouldn't at all. Yep. Oh. Shore4 just ruined Denmark. Absolutely desecrated them. The Dragon Strike was the real big opener there. And there it is, Canada again.
But now Canada has great ultimates, Mitch. Yep. Supercharger, Coalescence.
The barrage is back. They just do the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to come in, try and Blizzard Death Blossom. They're going to walk into the Coalescence Supercharger and the barrage. And
you are
Canada
loving
should
life.
be able to win the map.
Let's see where the halt goes. The halt hitting is pretty important, so that gets thrown out. Agilities wants to be a little closer than this. It's not really at optimum barrage range. Right about here is probably fine. Kinetic Grasp actually going to eat up a heck of a lot of that one. This might have gone wrong for Agilities. He does get shacked. That's it, though. Blizzard thrown out. Note was frozen solid. Fisher now has some room to play in the Winter Wonderland. They throw up the wall. That gives Denmark the cap back. Canada have to come up with something else. Or do they? I mean, now the players from Denmark are quite low here on the point. A Dragon for sure.
Oh, no. They're going to be able to flip this right back.
It feels like a matter of time while Shore4's just waiting, sending arrow after arrow into the point. Canada just want to take the point back. That's all they really need to do here. Denmark struggling. Note's just going to sit behind the shield, though. Shax comes in. XQC returns on the Reinhardt. Adamant that this is the pick for him. Go. And you love to see it, Matt. You just do. Now with the players on the point, it's a matter of pushing Denmark off, and Canada are looking to try and take away map number 1 in this series. It's messy though, I'll be honest. Gravitic Flux, Henningsen was dead to rights anyway. He will get dropped, he will get finished. Note was able to at least secure that kill, but still, Fisher able to get rid of Note. He went for the Gravitic Flux. Note couldn't get enough of an advantage with that one. And now Agilities gets caught on the point with a Biotic Orb. How has this gone wrong?
Denmark is going to flip the point here, and XQC comes back on, and the Rhine just going in circles here.
Anyone else having trouble following this? Anybody?
Banny is back.
Bueller.
I mean, all right, he's knocked off.
Anyone in the back?
Surefour's gone, so Denmark gets the point. And Denmark, well, less than ideal comp with the Rhine and the Wrecking Ball here, but I mean, they may have a shot at winning this. They're going to get a Pulse Bomb. You'll get a Minefield here. Surefour on the Tracer as well, trying to make a play.
Frustrating for Canada. Just need to keep it cool for one more fight. Pulse Bomb for Surefour would be nice. Shax will have one as well. Dueling Traces for the final fight. I'm ready for it. Fisher has not been detected here. Trying to go for a quick finish on Crimzo. We got him actually. But 1-for-1 trade though. Agilities brings the barrage into close quarters, and he gets the kill on Henningsen. The Reinhardt is down, but it's still work being done by Denmark elsewhere over the map. Agilities now has to commit to the ground. Molf just ruined his team. The Wrecking Ball being all the difference. And it looks like Denmark are going to push this to a third round. Astounding recovery from the Danes.
Mitch.
Unbelievable.
Surefour Pulse Bombed Kellex, who had Sound Barrier. He didn't use it, and then Canada lost the fight.
Yep, because Kellex comes back into the fight late with a Sound Barrier, and that seems to be when they really needed it most.
So it seems like we do have potentially a pause scenario here. Nope, we are good. All right.
Just pre-pause.
So,
yep, we do have a pause.
So we do have a bit of a pause. So we'll...
I mean, you can keep your chocolate cake on the desk if you really want.
That was my cake. I mean, if you guys were thinking I was kidding. No.
It was pretty tasty, by the way. I eat incredibly fast, so I already got to enjoy mine while Matt was still...
I like to... So I am... this may come as a surprise. I like to talk. So I talk really slow, kind of like how I talk to you guys. And I like to enjoy my food, have a nice conversation.
What are you doing in this car?
Isn't the best environment for that.
For the nice conversation?
Yeah, for the eating slow, as we keep going right into these games. The best part about being on camera with us is we have no idea whether the game is bad.
That's right.
So maybe we go back to the
We can flick between
screen,
them
so
and find out. Nope. What about... We'll do it in a couple of minutes, but yeah. Every time we flick back to the camera, everyone has to read our names. That's the only thing.
Wait, I think I hear the game.
We are back in. There we go. Okay. Thanks for bearing with us. And it will be a third round here on Nepal. Denmark bring it back with a comp that's a little bit hard to describe. You know, they brought the Wrecking Ball in. Fisher returned, who switched to the Doomfish late in the round.
Well, they needed they went Wrecking Ball Rhine.
Double Tracers.
Test. Yeah, I mean, Tracers on both sides. Josh, I just caught out of the corner of my eye, I guess their camera was just not, because they've been, okay, so Bren and Sideshow are going over to everybody's stations, and I guess the camera wasn't set for Bren, and his head was like cut off by the camera. So Josh was over there lining the camera. That's actually quite funny. Josh, Sideshow's a man of many traits.
Talents, perhaps? Or just traits? Either or, both?
Both. So I feel nice.
Denmark get to the point first, though, Matt. Somehow. I mean, they have the Lucio. I guess it stands to reason. So Canada, but I mean, you can't love this, right? You get to play around the point. Okay, you're losing some percentage here, but winning the fight almost seems like it's guaranteed. You're definitely getting old percentage for your DPS.
You'll trade what? 20% for more ultimate charge in the point? That's under the assumption they're able to flip the point, as that's going to be Malt taking out XQC.
Oh, wow, that is a nasty accretion. Shax is able to pick himself back up and Wraith walk away, though. Denmark have control now, so while you think Canada at the beginning, it's like it's a matter of time. They're going to make their way in, pressure to the point. Now their options for retaking are limited, especially with XQC out of the picture.
Well, and now Agility is still here. He has to get out alive. Oh, there's a halt.
That's not happening. Oh, he just tucks around the corner.
Barely gets around the corner, but
almost thought Kellex would pursue him there.
Surefour will go Reaper here for some more front-loaded damage. And then Denmark, they're going Tracer again. Flame was telling me, while you were there as well, that he was talking to teams and they thought Tracer was in a good spot right now. So.
I mean, she's much safer. Damage falls off occurs at 15 meters instead of 10. This could be a one clip. Okay, missed some of those headshots, unfortunately. Automatic Biotic Grenade. This is going to force a recall. But now Crimzo's really vulnerable. He actually fired off the nano boost there, probably because he thought he wouldn't have a chance to use it otherwise. He lets it go, though. Fisher eventually runs him down. Denmark are still in control of the point. And now Fisher comes home to roost. He's in a good position to influence this fight, almost able to pick off Bunny. Scalar eventually catches him anyway with the Coalescence. And Denmark haven't let go. Canada, this is getting away for them real quick.
Yeah, and Denmark is going to have a Pulse Bomb, a Death Blossom, and Gravitic Flux in the next fight. Bonnie has to switch off of Mercy to Lucio. Look at Canada's ult charges. Because they switched comms so many times, they're going to have nothing.
And they're in their last fight. So they put themselves in almost an impossible situation. Maybe Shawford gets something. He'd have to stay alive for quite some time. Shax is going to walk in the backside and just ruin them. Agilities is already down to Fisher's Pulse Bomb, and that Gravitic Flux just turns this into a shooting range for Shax. Hellfire shotguns blasting away, waiting for Canada to come back to ground. But it's really Denmark that are flying high. They're going to take this first map of the series, and Canada, another disappointment in a day of disappointments for them.
Yeah, it's just a rough day in the groups for Canada. 0-3 right now. And for them, it's just a meta they just do not gel with. That they are just, look, a lot of these teams come together, I don't want to say last minute, but, you know, players have their own individual schedules. Like, you know, obviously a lot of them are doing, whether it be OWL tryouts or figuring out their Overwatch League situation for next year and the years to come. So it can be hard when you have a team of players where, you know, all of them have some kind of Overwatch League affiliation in one way or another. To get on the same page and make it happen, especially when this meta is, it can be really snowbally at times. And there can be some, like, cheese attached to it, right? And you don't know the best way you want to approach it. You're not, the teamwork's not there. It can be pretty tough.
Yeah, I mean, Denmark has, you know, pre-existing synergies. I mean, Canada, there's quite a diaspora of Canadians across Overwatch League teams. Like, there aren't really, you know, many cases where there are two Canadians on one team. In fact, there are none. I mean, I guess there was like Jane and Note, if you want to count him in that example. But Banny's from the Outlaws, Shawford's from the Gladiators, XQC obviously streams. I mean, Mangachu's on the Defiant, Agilities is on the Valiant. Right,
and players everywhere, like, and then a lot of the players are trying to figure out what they're doing, right, next year. So there's a lot of these guys mine. I'm sure. Now, they did do a boot camp, I saw.
Yep.
Prior to this event, but still, tough situation for Canada. I don't think anyone will judge the players differently off of this. I mean, because these guys are tremendous.
XQC, he's just a man about town. Like, he just wasn't able to be here. I don't know if he missed 1 or 2 games for them today. I don't know how many.
I mean, we don't know, right? Like, we didn't see it.
And we're not knocking Mangachu, but he's not a main tank. He's just not.
I mean, Mangachu can play just about anything, but still, I mean, that is the most important thing in this meta, like the halts and the accretions and whatnot. So.
When you look at Henningsen, it's like, you know, he didn't see a hero that wasn't a tank until he was already an adult. He was like molded as that kind of player.
Yeah.
You know, and he's had great success domestically in contenders. He's looked very, very good. And half the reason why Fisher's able to set up, we talked about earlier in the day, we covered a bunch of Denmark yesterday. Synergy just looks really good. They're in a position where they can actually, you know, do some work tomorrow. Canada are in a spot to play spoiler. They definitely seem tired.
Yeah.
And they've had some I mean, it just goes from...
Like, it's a long day for the players. It's a long day for, I mean, even us, right? And I think you kind of see some of the frustrations I think the players would have, just because you're expected to do better just by the public and then also yourself.
Yeah.
And the frustrations can pile up. It can pile up quick. So Canada just having a rough go this year. It's a shame. It's a fantastic team. Like to watch these guys play.
Really enjoy them. Only the one map for them today as well, which is probably stung a little bit up against the Netherlands.
Yeah.
I mean, Group B is in a really interesting position right now. Denmark, obviously, 2-1.
Right.
You know, but Netherlands and Russia are both 1-2. And with Canada certainly being out there. So one of those currently 1-2 teams between Netherlands and Russia.
And they are playing right now.
Yes, right. So that game is essentially a decider for those two. And that game is occurring at the same time as the United States versus South Korea. So Netherlands are playing Russia right now. So there are some pretty insane matches occurring right now. Yeah, we get Canada versus Denmark, where there's not necessarily any implications
you would have
from this
thought,
result.
coming into today, you would have thought this was a second or third match.
Yes.
Like whoever won this would
Like,
have gotten second or
yes.
third in the group.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you looked at the group from the outset, if you don't expect the Netherlands especially to be so strong, because generally they normally exit the group stages, they have definitely some talent. This year, like I think the Dutch talent is really starting to show up, especially in like those contenders team like Young and Beautiful and like Phase 2 and a lot of those teams in European contenders. So guys like Vizility, I mean, when we were in Poland, he and Jonah were on that team. Yeah. Back then, was it 2017? I want to say. These guys have been on Crusade
they
as well.
They played in, and then Crusade was when we did. Well, you didn't do a contender season. I guess it was like 0, right? The one we did in Denver. He was playing. Was he playing with Bazooka Puppies?
Yes,
yeah,
but he's played with like remember that Cyclones team?
Yes. Yeah, he played for them too.
Yeah. So Bazooka, he was also on Laser Kittens as well. So
right.
Yeah, these guys. I mean, and it feels nice because these guys competed in Europe for a heck of a long time, and they've been on so many different teams now. Their careers actually span like such a long period of time. I'm talking about Denmark and Netherlands respectively. A lot of these European teams now getting a chance to show where, at the gauntlet, but Europe didn't do that well. Honestly, Europe really didn't show what they would have liked to internationally.
But Canada obviously won't make it out of the group, but will get treated to having either the Netherlands or Russia make it through. I'm sure Shadowburn, right? He gets released by the Paris Eternal. He wants to make it through, show everybody what he's still capable of as a player. And then we get Denmark as well. Denmark, a team that is on the rise. I think that's what the World Cup's about, right? Letting these countries come each year, picking the best in the countries, getting better, all right, going back home, new talent develops, and hopefully you proceed further in the tournament the next year.
Getting opportunities from getting noticed, I think is important, not just by teams, but also by fans as well.
Right. I mean, you don't know what type of a performance here could take you from being a contenders player who maybe gets a trial or two for Overwatch League into being in the league next year.
100%.
Maybe not a starter, let's say, but at least a substitute position, somebody taking a chance. So it's a big opportunity for a lot of these teams, a lot of the players.
Denmark are waiting for something. Possibly just the speed boost from Kellex. Oh, okay, they walked into a halt. Yeah, Canada were ready for them. That was very clever by XQC. That's when Denmark want to start racing ahead, but the halt keeps them in place and they get absolutely slammed.
And you would think this would be a good composition for Canada. Agility's a great Doomfist player. Yep. Doomfist, Genji, Pharah, really like Agility's this kind of wheelhouse. And then Surefour on the Reaper. I mean, that's a classic, right? I mean, you think back to some of the earliest tournaments in Overwatch.
Reaper, Tracer, McCree, Widow, any of that.
Well, I mean, some of the first games I remember watching Overwatch, just as like a fan, before I even started to cast, for Surefour on like Reaper and heroes like that. So to see him back on the Reaper, a little bit of a throwback.
Henningsen down again. Looks like they're able to pull him away from his own shield. Yet there's a commitment here from Denmark with the Coalescence. I wonder what Scalar's thinking here. Do they try and find like a kill late in the fight? No. Maybe they don't want to feed anymore, but imagine if you hold that Coalescence of Scalar. Like, your odds of winning the next fight look way better. Especially when XQC is so close to a supercharger, and you don't want that to hang around for long.
Gravitic Flux, too. I mean,
absolutely.
Because you don't have the sound barrier yet. But they're trying to get Henningsen. Oh! Shax actually gets a pick off the back of that.
Yeah, you thought Agility's finding a kill, but Shax was ready for him to drop down. The Meteor Strike. Gravitic Flux only really just delays Denmark's advance to the point. And Canada are down 2 players, and that's about to get a heck of a lot worse.
Yes, that time Agility's tried to get in there and finish off the main tank of Denmark, but the Meteor Strike was not enough to get it done. And that's where Shax can take advantage. As soon as he lands from the Meteor Strike, Agility's a little bit weak. They come through. Shax specifically on the Reaper picks him up.
Denmark now have those 2 support ultimates. So Scalar, I guess his slight gaff earlier on is kind of been covered up. We'll start with Agility's trying to be aggressive with the Meteor Strike in the backline. Gave Denmark the opening they were looking for. Canada need to get on the same page here, especially this part of the map where you can lose a lot of ground awfully quick if you're not in step.
Is he trying to TP to the bridge?
He's thinking about it. I think he was waiting for everyone else to drop down. He actually gets there. In his absence, Surefour goes for the Death Blossom, but he gets absolutely nothing. Fisher shuts him down. That is the exact opposite of what Canada were looking for, man. I think they see Shaxx teleport to the high ground and think we have like 1 to 2 seconds to really do some damage in like a 6v5.
Yeah, speed boost through and try and
But Molf hits him with a gravitic flux. So Shawfall's busy high up in midair with the rest of his team death blossoming. And as soon as he drops down, Fisher nails him. Fantastic response from Molf.
I mean, look at Denmark. 5 ultimates right now. No, sorry, 4 ultimates online. They just used the flux, but I mean, what? Canada, you have to be careful. If you invest both support ultimates in here, Denmark may just hold and be good for the next fight.
Well, Scaler goes for the Coalescence here. Canada, both support ults, Matt, you said it. They need to find something here, but even that doesn't seem to have been enough. Canada were essentially invincible for the first 3 to 5 seconds of the fight. But Denmark waited out. They only used 1 support ultimate. That is egregious.
And now by time Note gets in a position to use this flux, Kellex may end up even having sound barrier. So you can just not get an advantage here if you're Canada. And they get the front spawn as well. Just a few players here. I believe it was Note, Agilities, and XQC. Agilities and XQC able to make it out. Note falls, but Note is the one with the flux. And you have to wait.
Again, Canada. It's not bad luck, but it is unlucky to lose such crucial players so early in the fight. Kellex has time now to get that sound barrier online. And how do Canada combo with this? They really don't have anything else. All those ults been coming in one at a time. Here's a gravitic flux from Note. Trying to make the play. Molf is very low. Doesn't replace his shield very quickly at all. So he goes down. Note picks him up and Canada get it. Just from a gravitic flux and a hell of a lot of willpower.
But I like it though for Denmark. They end up using the gravitic flux. Kellex knows it's a lost fight. He doesn't beat, so he holds on to it. Now you have beat plus coalescence. I mean, you have all the ultimates you need for Denmark. Denmark also just playing the clock, right? I mean, they have almost 3 minutes left in the time bank.
Taking your time. Well, I thought they might take their time. Molf only gets 1 target with the gravitic flux, but they make sure XQC is completely annihilated. Can't fault them for that.
And now they hold on to sound barrier towards the end. They'll have sound barrier for the supercharger and the Death Blossom that they'll combo. And then Denmark has a supercharger Death Blossom with a Meteor Strike of their own. I mean, Denmark, even in the group, the prelim games we casted, their ultimate economy was fantastic in all of them.
There it is. That's a Death Blossom from Shawfall, and you're right. It was a sound barrier that came out. Shaxx now going to try one of his own. It doesn't fare much better, though. Henningsen put the supercharger down, but that was removed. Okay, Denmark now only have 4 players to work with. Scaler, Kellex over towards the point. Shawfall's down, but Agilities should do some work here. Henningsen is very low. Nice rocket punch connection from Agilities. Molf is still here, still alive somehow. Bunny is very low. He almost fell to a biotic orb from Scaler that just happened to bounce around the corner.
All right, so Canada finally gets a hold there on D. So Denmark, Shaxx switched over to Widow there for a second. Maybe just thought he was going to come off the spawn. Have a scenario where people are just fighting on the point, being able to pick some players off. But Bonnie has sound barrier for the flux, so you're not really worried too much about the flux here. It'll come in from Molf.
1 minute 20 on the clock. Canada starting to find their footing. Can they keep up the trend? That's a great start to the fight. Kellex is down, but Shawfall is missing, and Canada finding themselves losing a little bit of the bite. But Shaxx, plenty of his own. It's 2 for 2. Shaxx finally went down. Fisher is still at large, and both Doomfists are trying to do what they can to whittle the opposition numbers down. Denmark playing close together, but no ultimates on the horizon means that they have to play this fight very clean. Agility's finally down, but look at Denmark. They're just trying to peel back for each other in the presence of Crimso's Coalescence.
Yeah, they just want to line aside the Coalescence and nobody's taking any excess damage to it. Especially trying to go towards the health pack. He had no Seismic Slam, so wasn't able to use any of his movement abilities to make it quite easy on himself.
Oh man, that hurts.
Punch.
And that might break the back of Denmark in this fight. It was a scrappy one at that. But Agility sees Shaxx coming across in Wraith form. Shaxx tried to do it aggressively and was punished.
This will be the last chance for Denmark. They'll have both support ultimates. End of Meteor Strike here. Where does Sureforce sit up? How is he going to end up using this Death Blossom? That'll be Canada's key to hold on.
10 seconds left. Thanks, announcer. I said it first. Shawfall has a Death Blossom. Gets halted in, has to Wraith walk out. This might delay him making a play. Oh, Shax catches him.
What?
2 quick shots at close range, and he's put down. Shax finding Crimzo immediately after. Once again, Denmark break the dam. Just when it looked like they'd finally been brought to a screeching halt. Still a couple of bulkier bodies to deal with on the point, but those tanks are being hunted right now by Fisher and co. Oh man, no, trying to hold that kinetic grasp. Surefour, that's a desperation. Death Blossom and Molf eats that one for breakfast and gets his team across the line.
How did Shax get 2?
He was so close to Surefour. Surefour had no idea that Shax was right behind him. 2 shots was enough to find a kill.
Well, he got Surefour in Crimzo there. That's I mean, that kind of pretty much sums up Canada's day, right?
Absolutely.
They're putting together a fantastic hold. They almost have it there at the end, and then Shax just gets an unbelievable 2K, and then ends up being the difference in the end for Denmark. Although they do complete the map, they have no time left. So it is doable for Canada here.
But Canada, I mean, we've seen them try and run into some of Denmark's defensive setups before. Their cohesion has definitely been lacking a little bit over the course of this series. I don't think that's unfair to say. You know, you're relying on star power here with Canada a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Denmark just seem to be a little bit more in step. Could be a multitude of reasons for that, but that's just how it appears.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, Canada on paper is like the sexy, flashy team, right? And then Denmark, some of the players, but they do all this stuff that is kind of boring really well, right? Like their ultimate economy is great. Like, they have good positioning. Like, Shax and Fisher can make the flashy play at times.
They got good grades in school and went on to be lawyers.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly. Yeah, they weren't the captains of the football team, right? Like, but they're the ones who come out on top usually, right? So,
well, Denmark here. Not a shock to see this composition from them. Canada aren't really experimenting a whole lot in this map with theirs either, so Denmark see no real reason to sort of diverge away from what is the norm.
Yeah, I mean, Denmark could have played like Bastion here, but why? Put it this way, Denmark, you already have a spot locked up. Why show somebody else like
Absolutely.
a strategy you may want to use later on, right? So,
and you're going to need it tomorrow. They're definitely looking like they're going to be coming third in this group, especially with a win here. Oh my, Surefour just got caught. Agilities wasn't able to find a punch kill. He almost got Henningsen. He overextends for it just a bit, but he gets away with it. Crazy to think how him just peeking through his own Orisa shield is overextending, but it was. Gets away again. Agility's playing a dangerous game. One more kill though, and I think Canada will be home and hosed. He's done it. He catches Fisher. Fisher overshoots him. Agility's 180s and hits the rocket punch on his opposite number. Fantastic. Now looking to the point, Molf, well, I don't really know if you can kinetic grasp getting punched into a concrete wall. Banny finishes that kill. Agilities holds the punch, was hoping to drop down and then get the distance, but they'll get the job done here. This is enough from Canada.
Canada should be able to take the point off the back of this. I think now maybe Denmark, it wouldn't be showing something too crazy, but you must have something like a FAR or something here, like really make it difficult on Canada. So it looks like Team USA is up 2-0 against South Korea.
They've won that series against South Korea. South Korea looking a little bit worse for wear so far in this tournament.
Look, I don't want to. I hope our audio is not being pumped for the crowd.
Yes,
they know it's the group stages, right?
Don't spoil it for them. Just let them have it, Matt.
Hey, it'd be cool to see USA win. I just got to see it tomorrow.
Agility's forced back by that. Canada are probably going to be watching tomorrow at this rate as well. Great start to this fight by Denmark. Even with the coalescence of Crimzo active, not enough follow-up on the damage portion. Denmark can hold strong. I mean, this is where you want to be now. Fisher gets to play on the high ground, drop down on his own volition. And Death Blossom as well. Shax just drops on in.
We have seen, even in the Overwatch League, a ton of holds here in this position where you can have the high ground control on the defense. It's a very difficult choke to break at times, but looks like Denmark's going to give up some space and play under the bridge.
Get caught in a halt there. Agilities was hoping to nail someone. Surefour hit with an accretion, forced into Wraith form. It pops straight on out, tries to go for a Death Blossom, but he's trying to make the play there. Yeah, but he pops out of Wraith form, and he was not in position to get value there.
Molf on the Sigma has always made the play. I mean, right there, he's in perfect position for the kinetic grasp. Knows exactly Surefour It's going with the Death Blossom. I feel like we've talked a ton about like Kellex, Fissure, and Shax, but the tank line for Denmark has been really a standout group.
You know, I outside of having watched, you know, some of his performances in the past domestically, I just didn't know a lot about Molf before this tournament.
Yeah,
but
same.
Fantastic Sigma player, really excellent.
Especially because Sigma's such a new hero, right? Like,
just how quick he's adjusted. And also Henningsen's someone on who's, you know, playing a role that is much more positional than it is mechanical, but is really important, setting up a lot of plays for your team. That Orisa, Henningsen's a fantastic anchor tank.
Orisa is one of the harder heroes to determine whether someone is good or bad at, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, we've said that before. Oh, I digress, though. It was a nice hold. Another good one from Henningsen makes it so all of Canada pretty much gets caught inside that Gravitic Flux. Shax tried to go for the Death Blossom, no, and, well, it just straight up didn't work. Agilities was long gone. He was in a different postcode so far away. And so Canada are going to get some progress now, winning that fight. Kellex dies on the cart, stalls out a little bit. 2 minutes and 30 on the clock.
It's, you know, with everything that's gone on with the series today, it's kind of funny. We kind of forgot, like, what, Shax and Agilities, both LA Valiant members going up against each other here. Shax experiencing some better success at the World Cup than, well, his former teammate, right? So.
All right, sound barrier had to be used there by Kellex. That gives Denmark a real chance here now as they push out a spawn. Notes out of the picture early, and Agilities whiffs the punch. Not a great sign. And he has to be airborne, you know, rising uppercut to try and get a better view of the battlefield. But if you don't hit anyone with that rising uppercut, you suspend it in midair with a fairly slow fall time without getting shield from having connected that ability.
Yeah, and I know Doomfist players, they know the feeling, right? I mean, you use the punch, you go with the uppercut because you think you have a guy low. You don't get the kill. Maybe you're not able to seismic slam, like a Hulk comes through and you're stuck in a lot of trouble. I mean,
it's feast or famine, Matt.
Oh, the worst feeling as a Doomfist player, though, is when you have a seismic slam and you get halted and you just get pulled in the air forever. That's another tough one. But Canada, probably one of their best opportunities, maybe the best one that they'll have the rest of this round, to take point B.
Molf is very low. Kinetic Grasp for him. Wow, he got all that held back awfully fast. Shawful interrupted. He tried to go for the Dead Blossom, but the accretion stopped him in his tracks. To 5 for 5. But Shawfall's out of the picture, which means Agilities needs to step up, and he finds Shax now. But XQC is down. So now Henningsen and Molf are in a good spot to do some damage. Henningsen cleverly steps ahead of his own shield, so he doesn't take any damage at all from that Meteor Strike. Incredibly cerebral, just a small movement, but makes a hell of a difference. His team needed him to stay healthy.
They said of a halt Meteor Strike towards the end of that may not have even been needed, but now Denmark in a great spot to go up 2-0. Deny Canada a win this weekend. Shax will have the Death Blossom. Look for Molf to use the Gravitic Flux. Bonnie to potentially sound barrier if he has it in time. But then Shax to be waiting on the ground with that Death Blossom to seal it for Denmark.
Banny's waiting. He knows what his job is in this fight. Clears Shax off the high ground. Going to make it hard for him to take him by surprise. And there's the sound barrier. Staves off the Gravitic Flux. But Fish has gotten into their backline. They need to do something before that Doomfist starts to take hold. Shax gets rid of Shawfall though, so there is still a Reaper here for Denmark. Accretion slams into the shield. Gravitic Flux now as well. It's going to be Wraith walked out of by Shax, and he hits the ground on top of XQC, and Fish is back. He gets rid of Crimzo, and that is the end of the line for Canada. They only have Agilities left here. He gets connection on Molf, but that is it. And yet another disappointing chapter written by Canada. They falter on Hollywood.
Oh, man, as Denmark, with that win, takes the series and denies Canada a win over the course of the weekend. That is something that I don't think anyone expected. I mean, when I was looking at the teams that were invited in the top 5, I definitely would have said that Team USA and South Korea were your 1-2. China also in the conversation. I think at worst, you know, that's your top 3. And then I definitely thought Canada could push to potentially sneak into that top 3. I thought they were much stronger than a team like France would be. I'm almost over here.
That's fine. Yeah, you're about right. You got your cake as well.
But I thought France would be the without question 5th. And I thought France could potentially have been passed up by some of the teams in the prelims, but
we thought how much we expected them to be weaker than they were.
Comes out in that role. I mean, that is It's a rough one for Canada.
Yeah, and crazy. Like Russia has always performed quite well. In tournaments like this,
Yeah.
they 1 and 2. It's a middling result for them. They still have a chance, of course, to make it through to tomorrow. But a lot rests on one of the games that's happening now between them and Netherlands, otherwise known as Oranje. Only one of those teams has a shot. Yeah, Oranje. It's their name, their tagline.
Oh,
Oranje. I think it means orange.
And next to me, it looks like South Korea, USA is on Junkertown. So I believe, let me, take that off so I can look over a little bit.
It is 2-0, obviously.
Yep, 2-0. USA on defense. They're playing in Widow Reaper, nothing too surprising. South Korea again, Mitch. They're going with that same comp, well, a little bit different, but mostly that same comp that we saw them play. They're using like a ton of Hanzo. This time it's like Mei, Sigma. No Moira. They're just playing the Ana and Baptiste.
So obviously we had the impression that they were like kind of
They still
fooling
may
around
be.
a little bit, right? We thought they were fooling around somewhat. South Korea still want to be securing themselves a spot in tomorrow. Now with their victory over Sweden, that is pretty likely.
I believe it is.
Still
I believe they are good.
managed to get a lot of they've
Do
got a lot of
not
work.
quote me. I am not in league operations, but
Okay. Yeah, I mean they are 2 and 2. They'll be, and the reason why they get through, Matt, is actually not necessarily because they had a decent record. It's just that Sweden and the United Kingdom both got 0 wins. So Group A works out to be United States, France, South Korea. Sweden and the United Kingdom are both 0 and 3, with only 1 map win each. Sweden and UK.
I mean, they're a Denmark away from being really, or a Denmark in the group away from being really worried, right? I mean, that's wild.
So that's Group A pretty much shakes out with, United States, France, South Korea. So right now it looks like it's going to be USA.
Well, who would get second? France, probably, right?
Yes, France are pretty much locked second up. So, but that means that the US and China get buys into the semifinals tomorrow.
Ooh, okay. So
they
then,
go straight
then
through.
potentially, so you would have a South Korea-Denmark game for round 1.
Yes. Yeah, which honestly, seeing how solid Denmark are, and having also seen them being able to flex to a couple different looks here, I think like South Korea definitely has to have their wits about them. Did I think that we'd be here? Did I think that this was the reality?
No.
No. I think,
yeah.
And
then who is, so then you would have a France versus the winner of the Netherlands-Russia, correct? That would be your other match.
Yes, I believe that is true. So we cross over
Gotcha.
the group. So, yeah, so ton of fantastic games tomorrow. We'll be in the arena tomorrow as
Yes.
well. So you'll be able to see your favorite players.
It is quite odd not seeing the players. I'm so
Yes.
used to being able to see the players interact
Yep.
with each other.
Yeah,
Quite wild.
I know. It's a little bit different because I can only imagine that right now Canada are fuming.
Oh, yeah, I would not want to see Canada right now. I feel bad.
XQC he's been made to play Orisa for the last 2 maps.
Maybe they'll bring in Mangachu and get him some playtime.
XQC trying to get that early flight home.
I mean, final map, right? He took the time out to come out here,
Yep.
play, practice. He got some play earlier in the day, but maybe let him come in and play some of the heroes that he's known to play,
Yep.
right? Get a little showcase on.
You trying to get me
stream.
excited for Torbjorn, Matt? Is that where we are?
Nope. I was thinking more like Farah.
Okay, well, that is also a hero that Mangachu's known for, I guess.
Who's
Maybe
in the
not as
game
much prominent.
So South Korea is running Architect Carpe. So we've seen very limited amounts of Hacksaw today.
Yeah, we have actually. We did see him
My
in the
bet would
series.
be Hacksaw is going to play a lot tomorrow.
Well, we did see him against France.
Map 1.
Yep.
I think we're going to see a lot of Hacksaw Doomfist tomorrow.
So it's almost like South Korea wanted to give themselves an extra game, like put themselves in a position where they had to play quarters.
If you want my honest opinion, I think tomorrow they're going to run mostly Architect and Hacksaw, and they're just letting Carpe just play a bunch of games today.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I
think
can
you'll
believe
see
that.
Our Architect can play the Reaper, he can play the Bastion, he can play the Farah, Hacksaw can play the Doomfist, and I think that'll be what they run with tomorrow.
You still think they're going to win? Especially now seeing what the United States did to them. These signs, by the way.
No, I actually thinking about it now in my head, gut tells me no.
These signs are very common in Australia. For those of you that aren't aware, this is not just made up. There are literally parts of the country where you can't get gas and you need to have jerry cans of fuel in your car. Petrol, we call it petrol.
Petrol.
Yeah. But fuel. Otherwise, you just get stuck. if you've seen the In-Betweeners movie, bad things happen when your car runs out of gas and you're in the middle of the outback. Just a side note, editor's note.
Is that a little bit of a public service announcement there?
Yeah.
PSA?
Well, because, I've never seen those signs anywhere else. Because America's so well
I have been on point so often throughout the weekend.
Have you?
Mangachu in for Canada.
Oh, you're right.
I guarantee you, I will guarantee on the stream tomorrow, you will see Architect and Hacksaw play.
I guarantee on the stream tomorrow, you'll also see us cast the grand final.
True.
All right, well, they managed to find Shax early on, but that's what Mercy does for you, able to bring him back. Denmark are not worrying about the payload right now. They're pushing up, and I don't really know what this is for sure for, but I like it. I'm here for it. The Sat on that left-hand side, head first into an accretion, doesn't matter, because it's an immortality field, and Molf gets caught by a wall. Yeah, you were dead right about Mangachu, man. I'm not going to take that away from you. Nice to see the mate.
Oh, yeah, I mean, one of the absolute nicest guys in, I mean, he really just kind of games I've met.
Yeah.
Just a genuinely just, it's somebody who really just understands the moment, understands, like, what it's all about. Just great guy, awesome player, so we had to see him play.
Big
today.
hugger. Good hugs.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
So Mangachu will have pretty much a blizzard here coming into this fight. Sure 4 on the Widow. Forces Shax to switch to Widow as well. So get a little bit of a Widow v Widow battle here coming up.
Canada get into play, something a little bit different now. Maybe less concerned about the results of this match, given that it's unwinnable for them. Well, you are looking at a Overwatch League All-Stars Widowmaker 1v1 champion here. The Vicious Dragon Strike able to clean Crimzo up. XQC has to stay close to the cart. Oh, Banny.
Oh, Banny.
That accretion. Oh, he tried to dash away, but he got caught on the edge. Well, no chance for him. He would have just gotten behind XQC shield had that happened, but...
give me some throwback stuff. Let me see XQC on Winston. Yep. Let me see Node on the Diva.
That's
let's
it.
just go
about
for
it.
it, right? I'm about that. Mangachu now going to play Hanzo, one of the other heroes he plays. High level.
Crimzo, I want to see Crimzo on the Zen, please.
Very odd to see double shield, double sniper. This is something we actually thought the double sniper would come back towards the end of the Overwatch League season, but...
So what is it? Yikes. Nicely done by Mangachu.
I think it's just the map
his Hanzo is actually nasty.
I think it's the map that dictates this. Not necessarily any changes that have happened with the game.
XQC hanging on here. I think Fisher would maybe try and hope to put one more arrow in. I mean, you're trying to challenge Crimzo, bro. Get out!
Oh, he just got wrecked.
Yeah. Again, it's just 2 shots plus the Bionade. And that's pretty ballsy to do that, because if you're Ana, you know that you could just die to a headshot.
Yeah, but also knowing you're Ana, you're so slippery and hard to hit.
That's right. I mean, and also Hanzo tends to hit more headshots when he's not aiming for the person. So, I think what...
Is there data on that?
Yeah. Whoa! Crimzo, filthy!
Biotic grenade.
Not going to get much from that, unfortunately. But yeah, it's true. So, in a world where Fisher was actually aiming at Note, he probably would have had a better chance of hitting Crimzo.
Right.
You can't be a Hanzo player in ranked and tell me you're actually aiming for people that you hit half the time. It's just ridiculous. Molf. Oh, okay. That's a rock from downtown.
It's a nano-boosted rock, actually.
Yeah, well... I'm here for it, no worries. Not going to go for the kinetic grass there, just as Henningsen is felled. Canada are able to set up here on this high ground.
And this is why you don't see double shield, double sniper. I mean, just a very odd composition. Shax now goes to Reaper. Reaper Doom now into the sniper.
Reaper's just hard to find. He's very sneaky, obviously, but he can also reposition it. It's so hard to keep tabs on. And then Doomfist just sails across your screen and just punches you in the head.
It's so interesting how such a little adjustment with a hero and then a release of a new one brings a hero like Reaper into the forefront of a meta.
Yeah. Indirectly, I guess, buffed, you know what I mean?
I mean, they do adjust his teleport, but you're like, that won't be a huge
It's a quality
deal.
of life change, though. It doesn't change any damage numbers. It's just
the
speed.
Teleport adjustment plus the prevalence of Doomfist.
Plus, there was a life gain adjustment, the lifesteal adjustment from back a little while.
Yeah.
Now he becomes safer to play. And, this is what I think a lot of people watching, the Overwatch League and competitive Overwatch in general probably may not always understand, is that players try to develop the safest compositions, the highest percentage compositions. So you wonder why they play GOATs, because they have the lowest chance of just getting boomed by a Widowmaker or something like that. It's safe and it's effective.
The best course of action for the other team is to play the same exact thing.
Yes.
You know exactly how it plays.
All of a sudden, both teams are playing the safest composition, and you're complaining because you're seeing the same heroes all the damn time, but that's how pro players are programmed to do that. Another PSA for you. I've ranted about that one before, but Shawfor, okay, I didn't see Shawfor. He's already gotten 3 kills in this fight. He won't be in a position to find too many more unless he repositions, but that is 3 headshots. That is the Pine level stuff on this map. That's a throwback to that Season 1 NYXL performance.
Agility's managed to go and hunt in there. Is looking for the one more player.
Yo, if you guys are blessed if you're watching that in the World Cup viewer, by the way, which is available.
Oh yeah,
in client, you can watch World Cup games as if you were a spectator. I'll tell you what, if you saw that, can you clip it for me?
Here we go. Genji Tracer. What year is it? Well,
it is in fact the current year, Matt, as they
say. There's a Wrecking Ball and a Sigma de Moira out there as well.
Yeah, that's it. But I like the variation. It's a tweak. Fisher just gets domed.
Fisher showing us why not to play Genji.
Fisher, prolific Genji player back in his day.
Yeah.
It's all about it.
We were talking earlier. Genji's, I mean, especially in the trailer for Overwatch, like 2, like Genji just looks awesome.
I don't know what Magatu was hoping for with that Dragon Strike. That is. I mean, I know we could see both. I think it was Molf and Scalar, but
hoping for a highlight play. Team USA just completed the 3-0 of South Korea.
That's it. Absolutely got them. See if they can follow it up tomorrow when the matches really start heating up. Fisher finding 2 there with the resets. Only a couple tanks left. Note's actually able to get the melee hit on him, though. And those shields buy so much time. Shax is... I'm not really sure what Shax is. Okay, so Shax was trying to fight Crimzo there one-on-one. Takes a while to get the Ana. You got to force the bionic grenade out first. They just don't want to be done.
Mangachu going with the classic Torbjorn stall here. All right.
Well, look, I said we'd see it. You didn't believe me. Shax does a great job of killing an inanimate object. That's XQC Supercharger with a pulse bomb.
Oh, I mean, I'd
love to see it.
I thought for sure we would see the Torbjorn at some point. Didn't expect it there.
If not there, then where else?
Well, you're gonna see it some more. As they're gonna use the Torb to counter the dive that's gonna come through. Torb can be pretty deadly against Tracer and Genji. The turret just a little bit of a nuisance. You can use the turret to help Shawfor stay alive. And Banny will be playing the Brigitte here.
Okay. This is great. I guess it's just it's a concession to this dive, right? Shawfor doesn't fancy being on the high ground right now. He knows that Fisher kind of dominates that space, and Shax's head goes rolling. Fisher, he's playing a dangerous game. Crimzo helps out his boy Shawfor, but I don't think Lane needed the assistance.
They kept giving Shawfor armor packs over and over again, so every time they dove him, he just had more armor on him. But see,
it was actually very effective against Tracer, by the way, because armor is better when the damage comes in smaller, like a large amount of small bits,
burst,
right? Yeah. So like pellet type damage, like Roadhog and Tracer, because it reduces per hit, not as an overall percentage of total. Right, Infrasight for Shawfor, so hopefully he can get some safety, but Fisher's going to be looking for him, and now he has a Dragon Blade. Living dangerously.
No nano, though. Do we see the nano Molten Core?
I'm here for it. Here it is. Molten Core. He lets it go. And he's going to get pushed. Fisher just sails on through. Takes his head off. I'm going to say that Torbjorn experiment was not successful.
It was.
Okay. What did it prove? I guess, see, even failed experiments could be successful. They got Molten Core, right. Shawfor sitting back.
Still holding on D.
Sound barrier for Denmark here. This is just for that extra durability. They're just trying to make sure they can clean this fight off without losing anyone. They don't want to be put into a stall situation where Canada can trickle in. If they keep 6 players up, they're guaranteed to get it done, and they finish. No time left in the bank, but they finish.
So we'll see what Canada wants to do on offense. Maybe a Bastion play comes out of Team Canada.
I mean, it wouldn't put it past it. I mean, Shawfor, huge Bastion fan. Huge. Loves Bastion. I believe, to quote him, he said Bastion is... Oh, I can't say that, actually. Oh, no. He really likes Bastion.
He's a big fan.
Yeah.
Maybe we see Bastion Torb. Always good to see Bastion Torb.
But so it really depends how much Canada care about the map. They will have to play extra innings on Junkertown if they finish either way, so they have to bear that in mind. Outside of that, I mean, there's a ton of options. I mean, we saw Brigitte from Banny there. I don't know how effective it was at shutting down Fisher because there was so much high ground available to him that he could sort of just go over the top every time. And you're not going to have Banny just sit next to Shawford just to prevent, you know, the Widow from getting dove. It's just not going to be worth it.
76? I'm a fan of that. I mean, you know, you've obviously been missing out on our open division games, so I've been playing some 76. I've been tearing it up.
You've been tearing it up, bro?
Maybe I'll be playing in the Overwatch World Cup next year. I mean, that could be a thing.
I'm already in the World Cup, Smile.
If Soldier 76 comes back in the meta, I have a chance.
Just giving the COD players an opportunity. Thanks, Jeff. Here we go. Reaper going to be chilling by the front door. Trick or treat, fam. Hello? Bueller? All right, does see Crimzo. They know he's there, so Shaxx are not fooling anybody. The Sleep Dart came in, but Crimzo just got blown up.
Here we go. Battle Reinhardt again.
XQC, not messing.
All right, we're going back to this one. All right.
Pretty sure he tweeted in the break that he was going to play Reinhardt. Pretty sure I saw that.
Canada making some adjustments here still. So, all right, they get the Reinhardt onto the cart.
There
Reinhardt
it is.
Starts to swing.
The hammer falls, baby. XQC in the charge onto Shaxx. That's what we're looking for. Canada finding a little bit of momentum here, and XQC is doing it to all of them. And you know we had to, Matt.
It worked on, when they tried it on Nepal, he was able to pick up a few eliminations with it. Just speeding up the Reinhardt into position and letting the Reinhardt swing.
Well, it's going to Lucio Moira combo. He's definitely going to at least keep XQC relatively durable as these fights go. But again, you're still contending with Doomfist. You're still contending with Reaper. You have to respect that. Canada go for an immediate flank around here. XQC just took a chunk of damage and Kellex was able to find him. Denmark also have a speed boost, Matt. They know if they can surround the Reinhardt, they can punish XQC, get him out of position for the rest of his team. There might have to be a change for the Maple Leafs here.
We'll see. I mean, he's going to get close to a shatter. How much do you value that with two shields on the other side?
Not very highly, I think. If XQC gets a big shatter, I'll give you 10 gifted subs if there's two shields in the game. 10 gifted, I'll put on it. Nah, sorry, only one. All right, charge in, XQC. Trying to connect there with Henningsen. Wasn't able to make it there, but Canada able to break through eventually. This is not the finesse approach. This is about
it's very aggressive.
Subtle as a sledgehammer.
Yes. It's a very aggressive setup from Team Canada. So now Mangachu going to play McCree.
Okay.
Potentially, so this would provide a little bit more long-range damage.
What does this provide? Long-range damage?
Deter maybe some of the push coming in.
Fish is still going to try and give him a knuckle sandwich. So Denmark take the high ground here. This makes it a little bit harder for McCree to have a good angle. As Canada try and push up. Great knockoff though.
So now
big deny.
Mangachu plays Doomfist now. Canada for the last little bit has been cycling through a lot of heroes.
Nope, they're getting a pretty rough time of it. Canada probably can't push the high ground against this Orisa-based composition. Mangachu's able to find Shaxx here, but as Reaper, he'll return to the fray post-haste. Ouch.
So now Denmark stabilizes on defense. You may need to actually switch to some different stuff here for Canada.
What are you suggesting? You want to see the Orisa switch?
You're going to see the Orisa.
Begrudgingly, XQC puts the Hammerman away.
I think that's what Denmark wanted. They wanted to force the mirror because they felt pretty good about it.
Gravitic Flux now. That one's being aimed at Denmark, but immediately Kellex responds with the sound barrier. Didn't miss a beat. The Boston Uprising support player. Fisher now looking for an easy pick-off. He forces the fade at the very least from Crimzo, but here comes a Death Blossom from Shaxx. He gets note. Shawfall's out of the action. He wants to be involved, but he was knocked off the edge twice in quick succession.
Beautiful by Kellex.
Kellex will not let him play the game, and Shawfall couldn't be angrier.
I mean, Kellex has been a rock star for Denmark throughout the bracket yesterday and then in the groups today. Just the positioning, the ultimate usage, and then right there, the presence of mind. He knocks Surefour off from the high ground twice, back-to-back, which prevents maybe a big Death Blossom from happening.
Absolutely. I mean, it would have been a bit late in the fight for Surefour to think of committing an ultimate, but he wasn't able to find anything. No cleanup kills, nothing on the exit. That was a hold. Mangachu, rising uppercut to get in position, but it doesn't look good for him. He's able to get away though. Looks like Kellex was caught by an accretion. Henningsen drops to the low ground, and Canada finally break that high ground hold from Denmark, finally start to build up ahead of steam, and they're going to need it.
Yeah, and Canada does it with holding on to some ultimates, so they don't have to burn any ultimates to get that push through the high ground. Denmark comes in a position where they may have to give this up. I mean, you can come out there, use Supercharger, hope they coalesce Supercharger, lose the fight, and then you're just trying to hold on to point C.
Biotic Orb there is going to do a bit of scouting. It's kind of annoying for Shax and Fisher, who obviously don't have self-heals for the most part. But no, it's already gone down. Mangachu drops straight on in here and immediately is pushed back out of the fight. Crimzo's able to get rid of Shax though. Coalescence used a little bit aggressively. This is a messy fight though. Very close with the Supercharger going down over the point. Fisher dropping on XQC, knocking him away from his own shield. XQC doesn't have the cooldown. He needs to go for the Mega Health Pack, and now Fisher might be in trouble. He's forced a rocket punch away, and that is what Angry Horsey. XQC again surrounded though, and Fisher finally finishes the job. Denmark now with a couple numbers at the end of the fight, but there's so much more to be done. Fisher needs a little bit of help. He needs his teammates there. He gets run down by Mangachu and Shore4. And the Gravitic Flux doesn't look great. Henningsen is surrounded on all sides, and Canada finally break through.
And Bonnie with a big sound barrier there at the end when Malf lands that Gravitic Flux, but it's really the pickoffs from Mangachu. We were on with Fisher for a while after he got some scalar falls, and he's just trying to chase his healing orb around, trying to gain some heals there. Mangachu has made it to the Mega Health Pack before him, so he's not available. So Canada now 2 minutes and 15 on the clock to complete the map to give themselves some extra time.
They may not have a chance to play in the finals tomorrow, but Canada still have a chance to take themselves another map. They're going to make their way forward here. Molf standing a little bit too far back. Look at Denmark going to engage immediately. Speed boosted in. Kellex going to go for the sound barrier now, and Note tried to respond, trying to force Denmark away with the Gravitic Flux. It just straight up didn't work. And Canada, without their main tank, they had to retreat.
So now you can play a little bit closer now. If you are Denmark, you have those 3 players from Canada still here, though. I mean, stuck up on the high ground. See how they make it up. Yeah, they want to fight it. Mangachu gets a few players low with this Meteor Strike.
Yeah, but he dropped.
XQC now off spawn. You may be able to make something out of this.
Mangachu came in behind Henningsen's shield. Still able to hang around in the fight, though. Canada, look at this grim determination, Matt. They will not be stopped, and XQC is going to mow them down. Crimzo and XQC combine and account for most of Denmark, and now a chance at extra innings here on Junkertown for Canada is absolutely likely.
Canada, you know, they had 3 players split off. They were up on the high ground. They're able to keep those players alive. It's Mangachu who picks off 1, then a Meteor Strike, allowing the players from Canada to come back off spawn. Gives them an advantage.
This is such an important fight. Shore4 was thinking about high ground position to go for some sort of Death Blossom, but here comes a push on towards the cart. Mangachu already gone down first. It's got to be Shore4 trying to make up the difference with the Death Blossom, but he finds no one. Everyone in Denmark gave him such a wide berth, and it wasn't able to find anything with it. He gets Henningsen after the fact, though. No. Trying to take to the skies there with the Gravitic Flux, but Shore4 is finally starting to accrue that value late in the fight, and Denmark are just worn down. They've got nothing left. Molf tries to drop onto the point. The spawn is close, though. A couple seconds, and Denmark could be back to full strength. Molf rolls on in.
As well.
Finally caught by Mangachu, and Henningsen gets the Reinhardt charge on Crimzo. All of the big part of the healing for Canada is missing now. Banny has to go for the sound barrier here. They need 4 players to be as durable as they possibly can be. Scalar's Coalescence, as you said, helps Denmark stay in this fight. Henningsen stuck to the payload now, knocked away by Mangachu, but ready to keep swinging with Banny down, and Denmark getting the sound barrier now. This might be the end of Canada's run. It's all gone wrong, Matt. It's all over. And Denmark hold Canada off, and they take the last map of the series. Just when it looked like Canada would be elongating it, having a real crack at it, they pull up short.
The Reinhardt pin off the spawn, and then another swing to get a second player. And then the Coalescence comes in from Scalar at the end. What a play as Denmark gets the win.
Canada, I mean, not been their year at all. Struggle for them. In the last match of their run, still failing to get a map. They only take the 1 over the course of their run here at the World Cup, and I'm sure they'll definitely be licking their wounds for some time about that one. Definitely no bragging rights to be taken away from this year. If you're still with us right now, the Netherlands up against a Russian Federation. They are 2-0 heading into map number 3.
So that's over.
Yes, essentially it is, yeah. Netherlands have actually managed to beat the Russian Federation, which means that our top 3 teams from each group go like this. Group A is United States, France, and South Korea. Group B, China, Denmark, and the Netherlands has managed to sneak in. So that now sets the stage for our finals tomorrow, Matt. Insane.
And Denmark and the Netherlands. We thought there were maybe like 1 or 2 teams that could sneak on to Saturday, be a little bit of dark horses in the tournament.
Yep.
We get 2 with the Netherlands and Denmark.
And that means that our playoff matches are set. Quarterfinals, we're going to see Denmark versus South Korea. And the other side, we're going to be seeing France go up against the Netherlands.
I think we end up, with the way I see that bracket, I think we potentially end up with a USA-China final tomorrow.
Well, South Korea will have another opportunity to play against the US, I believe. Unless they flip the bracket, but I don't think they will. But that's absolutely possible.
Yeah, I mean, if the bracket that we see here, which we're just getting online, is the same one, yeah, I mean, that would be the case. And it's
incredible stuff. So
wild turn of events.
And that sets the stage, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a pleasure to have you on this stream with us today. There are still matches going on. And I do want to check those ones out, as well as our Red Zone stream on twitch.tv/Overwatch League. Hope you've liked some of the ideas we tried today. The caster picture-in-picture didn't really, it started flickering towards the end, so we got rid of it. And we thank you for sticking around with us today. Tomorrow, it all kicks off again, though. 10:30 PDT. Denmark versus South Korea. And again, win and you're in, lose and you go home. Semi-finals berth to be played for there. But that's all for us today. Thank you very much for joining myself, Uber, and Mr. X. And we will see you tomorrow bright and early for the conclusion of the 2019 Overwatch World Cup. Good night, and we'll see you soon.
The 2019 Overwatch World Cup is brought to you by T-Mobile. Their newest signal goes farther than ever, and it's built 5G ready. Omen, the official PC and display of the Overwatch World Cup. And by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch World Cup.
Mais ils peuvent encore passer. C'est fait! Le double kill à domicile!
Last 2 years, represent France is a huge honor for us.
Là où personne ne nous voit.
When esport was recognized in US or in Korea, it wasn't in France.
Unbelievable!
3 now for Soon!
It's not representing a team, it's representing a nation, and there's a ton of people watching you because they are French and they want us to win.
The 2019 Overwatch World Cup is brought to you by T-Mobile. Their newest signal goes farther than ever, and it's built 5G ready. Omen, the official PC and display of the Overwatch World Cup. And by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch World Cup.